You know, we started this year with, it seems like, everything going wrong. And we came home from Honduras, and our building was overflowed with sewage, and we had to vacate our own building, and we haven't been able to go back in, and they started fixing our building this week. And then my birthday came, and when you're getting older, you're not afraid of getting older. You're afraid of hurting yourself. And you started to hurt yourself with the dumbest thing. Like I was opening the door and I pulled the muscle on my fourth finger, opening the door. Who does that mess? You know, I'm a pianist, so I need my fingers. And came home, my hands all swollen, and my wife said, "What did you do?" I said, "I opened the door." That's all I did. So as we get older, we're supposed to also get wiser. And you know what I've realized in life, not everybody gets wisdom with years. So I am appreciative to look before me and see the many faces that have been part of my life for a really long time. Today I told Darwin, last time I saw you was 18 years ago. That was a really long time ago. If any of you enjoyed his playing, he already has 3 albums out. His first album was nominated for a pre-Grammy. So, support the cause. I have always been really proud of him since he started taking piano lessons with me, because I didn't want to teach him. I gotta explain. He was the bad kid in my Sunday school class. He always misbehaved, and when the mom asked me to teach him piano, I said no. And she continued for 2 or 3 years asking me to give him lessons, and the moment I sat down with him for 5 minutes, my heart was in love. Now I know it sounds weird to you guys because it's 2 guys, so there's nothing weird. You know, when you find someone that has a common passion that you have, it's like you're willing to just pour your heart out for them. And as much as I could give, Darwin took. And he wasn't even chewing, he was just swallowing. And I left to go to the Army. And of course, I couldn't teach him anymore, I wasn't home. And Darwin gave me a phone call many years later and asked me to come and visit him in Chicago. And kind of weird, you know, I haven't seen you since you were a little kid, and now you're inviting me to go drive to another state to come and visit you. And his life has taken a turn for the worse after I left. And he said these words to me: "I'm here on school on a scholarship in music because one day I stopped to think about the things you taught me in between the piano lessons." And now I get to see this awesome pianist that I can sit down for hours and just listen to. And I'm a concert pianist, he's a jazz pianist. And he told me yesterday, he says, "You know, I was studying classical music when you came to visit me in Illinois." And I said, "What happened? Why did you change?" He said, "You gave me permission." And the following day I went and changed my major. So I'm so appreciative that he flew all the way from Chicago to come here. But I have many in here that are my own kids. You know, I've watched you grow and I've watched you succeed. I have D Love over here who has her own product line. You know, and when we first met her, she was living in the projects and living on welfare, and just began to speak into her life. And she switched from being in that condition to, I can do it, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And she got her own business and began to prosper, and then came by the church and said, "Here's my tithe, because, you know, I made some money and I wanted to share my tithe." And then she went and bought a big old expensive truck and came by the church and said, "Look at the truck that I have. I came here to bring my tithe." And then she went and bought a big old house, and she said, "I'm over here. Look at the pictures of the house that God gave me. I came to bring my tithe." So I'm proud of you, beloved. more success. And Sharano was always a handful. Y'all can hear Sharano sing, but man, I tell you, there are many times like Sharano, stop screaming, sing, stop screaming. And she's like, Pops, I'm not screaming. Yes, you are. That's why you lost your voice. So, and then I heard her sing tonight, and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, if we could just put that in a bottle, and take it with us everywhere we go. And then I get to see some new faces. We had Cyndi Lauper. I met her for the first time today, so I appreciate you coming and sharing with us, and all the dancers and my own kids who bless my heart. My daughter just tore me up with that song, just tore me up, and I felt tonight, this is what my funeral should look like. A celebration of things that have been accomplished. So I'm going home full. I'm not ready to die yet. I still want to see some more faces and experience more things. And I want to thank my brothers and sisters who drove here from the Atlanta area to be with us tonight, and my two nieces. I so appreciate we grew up together, of course, so they've known Darwin, but I think they probably forgot how awesome Darwin could play. I tell you, he was lighting up my piano at my house, and the inside of me was like, he is doing exercises. You remember when you were trying to make him do exercises? I remember telling him, this will be your Bible. This exercise book will be your Bible. He told me this morning, Ray, can I do exercises? I said, you can go to the gym. He said, no, not those kind of exercises. I want to exercise on the piano. So I am so grateful to all of you, all the people who cooked, who brought the food, all the support, all the dress for the 70s. I was born in 1970, so that all of you who came to the 70s and 80s, to me, that's the best music. Okay, now if you don't agree, that's too bad. I'm the one that has a degree in music, so. So music then, when we wanted to say something nasty, we didn't just go out and say something nasty. You had to figure it out. Y'all remember that? See, I teach music now, and my kids will come to class and they'll put on some music, and I'm like, I'm embarrassed. They're like, what do you mean? I've never heard words like that in a song before. I'm so embarrassed. Every other word is a curse word, and it's like nothing left to the imagination. So I want to start a movement where we start writing music again, where you can be as nasty as you want, but if you don't want to figure it out, you don't have to. So I am really grateful to my wife who put this whole thing together. And my wife said, honey, I'm going to have a birthday party for you, but I don't want you to pay for any of it. And I said, ooh, I hear you, girl. I hear you. I don't pay for any of it. So she worked really, really hard to come up with enough money on her own. Lots of Zumba and lots of other stuff. And she was able to pay for all of this. And I'm grateful for our host church, Board Alive, because they normally charge a good amount of money for this room, and they will rent it for one day at a time. They gave it to us for 2 days straight, so we can set up, and only charge us a fraction of what it normally costs. They said, we saw y'all on the newspaper. We understand the problems that you're going through, so they normally charge for every table that's out there. They didn't charge us a thing for the tables. They normally charge for the little food warmers. They didn't charge us anything for the food warmers. Every little thing that you see, they charge extra. They didn't charge us anything extra. So I'm really grateful for God moving in our behalf. For all of you whom I've known for a really long time, I'm looking forward to knowing you for longer. I want all of the people who have taken any music lesson from me to please